If you like to use BetUS or like to bet your money, just use BetUS. It'll help the channel. Please use the description the link in the description. It'll help your channel. This is an impromptu show because I've been in New Orleans over the weekend, the holiday weekend, and I just had to get some shit off my chest tonight. And I thought, what better person to do this with than the PodFather himself, Mr. Aldo Gandia. Thank you for joining me tonight to have a little bit of fun, get a little bit of shit off our chest, talk as just passionate, lifelong Bears fans, and man, what the hell?
I'll tell you, I'm really happy to be here. I know you kind of clued me in on a couple of stories that you're going to share that I wasn't totally 100% familiar with, or at least I don't recall. So I'm anxious to hear that. Anxious to hear your thoughts about Thomas Brown and what his chances are. I know how much you love Jim Harbaugh. I think it was a missed opportunity for the Chicago Bears. And maybe we could talk about that a little bit, and just a lot of stuff to talk about. So take it away, brother.
Let me first off start by saying it's an absolute honor to just be like Aldo and text you and be like, bro, my brother, I said to you, you want to hang out with me tonight for a little bit and just shoot some shit with me about the Bears? And you were like, yeah, let's do this. And the fact that it could just come together this easily for us is an honor to me, because you are the PodFather. I love you. You are the reason why me and so many others, Nomad, Triple R, Sports Chicago Style, so many people are doing. I can't. It's endless. It's endless, Aldo. And it's because of you, TTNL. Greg Braggs.
Go like this. There you go. A little hot too.
Greg fucking Braggs Jr. Aldo, is because of you, not TTNL, because of you. And I sit here because of you. Nomad Network sits here because of you. Many of us sit here because of you. You are the PodFather. I love you and appreciate you so much. And I'm just so happy to be able to call you on a whim and have you come out and do an impromptu show with me tonight, just to help me to get my problems off my chest, because I was in New Orleans for the holiday weekend watching everyone else like vent their thoughts, including you, thinking, I can't do anything about it because it's a day later.
Yeah.
And I am so happy to have you here with me. It's an honor for me. So thank you. And I cannot wait to get into this, man.
I can't wait either. And I want to shout out Brandon Lawson. He just posted on your chat, Shorty, this is the first time seeing your show. Subscribed. And Aldo, thanks for the plug. You got it, man. Brandon Lawson's great guy. If you guys start interacting on X, you're really going to be impressed with the work he does, helping people who have abused drugs and alcohol, and he works in a lot of halfway houses and state penitentiaries and stuff like that. He's doing the Lord's work, and he's also a huge Bears fan and very passionate too.
Brendan Lawson, thank you for joining us tonight. That is amazing to hear. Love and appreciate that. Foster, one of our co-hosts on our normal show on Thursday nights, does the. I'm going to stand up now because I want everyone to see my jersey backwards. I'll get into that in a second. Foster covers our co-host, our media relations manager on this channel, does a lot of the same. So love and appreciate that from you, and thank you for that. Mr. Mayhem, what's going on? Bear Truth, great to see you. Ron Warnarski and Bob Swede. Great to see you tonight.
Vikings fan, huh?
Is he? I don't know, but
that's what that skull means. It's the Vikings saying, like bear down. That's the Vikings.
We've got a couple of Packers and Vikings fans, and a Arizona Cardinals fan that subscribed to us. So
do you have the Packers fans tied up in the closet behind you?
Damn right I do. Shut up! Shut up! Aldo, I'm starting a movement, okay? I have two. So we went to the first game this year together,
Mhm.
Because, it was so special to watch that first game, not in the same seats with you, but in the same stadium, hanging out before and after, watching Caleb Williams' first game, and Foster, our co-host, and then myself and my cousin. We had a great time that day. We got to watch that game. And that was the last fucking game I'm ever going to go to wearing my jersey correctly. So you got to see it. Tonight, from like the last 2 weeks on, or month on, I should say, this jersey is on. I'm going to tell you why. It's Urlacher, okay?
Mhm.
This jersey is on backwards. A, it's big enough I can wear it backwards without it being uncomfortable. And B, he's a Hall of Famer. He's an established Chicago Bear. I'm not going to go putting out Caleb Williams' jersey backwards like I'm in protest of him. Fuck that. Caleb Williams is the fucking savior of this team if they could just get it correct.
Mhm.
We'll get into that in a second. From now on, I'm wearing my jersey backwards at every fucking game I go to.
You know what that reminds me of? When I was a kid, probably 9, 10, 11, 12 years old, something like that, I'm walking down the street with my uncle, and we walked past a bar where the old style sign was upside down. And I go, what's going on with that? Why is that sign upside down? He goes, oh, that signals that it's a gay bar. Which is kind of gay. You have the name in the front, but being gay is cool nowadays. So you're breaking trends, man. Caleb does the fingernail polish thing, which was considered gay, and now you're wearing the uniform backwards.
Aldo, I promise you, if Caleb Williams wins the Super Bowl, I will paint my fucking my nails daily. I will put like a B and B and A, and it'll say bear on my nails.
I love it.
It'll say bear down.
Yeah, I won't go that far, but I've already paid my dues as a Bears fan. I'm due another Super Bowl. Let's get this shit going, guys.
Bob Sweet saying LGBTQB1.
See, it would have been funnier if you would have put the 8 at the end there.
Yeah,
but,
right.
Nonetheless, good attempt there, Bob. Very funny.
Well, here's the thing, Mayhem. I'm not. Mayhem says I'd never paint my nails. That's fruity. But listen, I don't get I'm not. Who gives a shit?
Yeah.
It doesn't. I know who I am. I'm a male, straight, married man. If it's in support of my team after they win a Super Bowl, or in the realm of winning, the snow's falling and they're winning the playoff game, Aldo, you're like, paint my nails.
Exactly. Yeah, when I was young, I lived. I'm Puerto Rican, and so just about everybody I hung out with was Puerto Rican, and we went through a phase. So this has to be like the late '70s, where all of the guys I hung out with guys who were a couple of years older than me. All of the guys were putting clear polish on their nails. They thought that was good, and they were the kind of 1950s Goodfellas look, or those movies with the suits or pants with cleats and stuff. So I was like, nah, I'm not gonna do that whole nail painting thing, but I'll just go like this and take the oil from my skin, and there you go. It looks like it's clear polish.
Can I be honest? I painted my nails one time, a couple of times. I tried with clear nail polish just so I could stop biting. I'm a nail biter.
Oh, okay, that'll help.
Look at my disgusting fingers.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna be honest. I even put on fake nails one time. I'm not kidding. Glued them down and everything. I didn't paint them, but I'm like, let me just trim them to make them look real, just so I can not. I sat there fucking driving my truck, just like on plastic nails, like they were a corn cob, Aldo.
That's hilarious.
So, Eddie Lara, thank you for hanging out with us tonight. Ampharius, great to see you again. All right. So I saw your little. It was a very it wasn't an obnoxious rant. It was a very eloquent rant that you had on Friday night after this fucking shit show that we just went through again. And I thought to myself, like, I wish I could just be like, Aldo, can I come on with you? And I couldn't because I saw it 2 days later. You like it inspired me to. Well, I really wanted to get on here and just speak my fucking mind because of this team.
Please
I couldn't do it because we spent our holidays in New Orleans and I was, in vacation mode. I just got back yesterday and I'm like, man, I really want to do something like last night I want to do. And then today I'm like, I have to do it tonight. I'm like, I have to have Aldo with me. This would be so perfect. And I got to tell you, it's getting to the point that for me, I cannot look past the McCASKEY'S anymore, Aldo. It's even Kevin Warren sits there like, and I just think to myself, this is a fucking McCASKEY hire.
Yeah.
I'm standing up. I'm no longer sitting, Aldo. I'm standing. That's how I feel about this team. I can no longer sit and talk about this team. I have to stand and rant about them. What's up, Armando Lara Jr.? What's up, Carl? What's up, Creighton Wilfong, Jeremy Munoz? Thank you for hanging out with us. Ron Winarski. Love you guys and appreciate you guys. Thank you for hanging out with us. I have to stand up now, Aldo. I'm it's the McCASKEY'S. It's the McCASKEY'S. It's the McCASKEY'S. Kevin Warren is a McCASKEY hire. Ryan Poles is a McCASKEY hire after they interviewed all the head coaches and they were all supposed to believe that Matt Eberflus was actually Ryan Poles. Can you not tell me, Aldo, that if you put all the head coaches in a fucking lineup on a brick wall, if they were as if they were rapists and go, who is the fucking one coach that the Bears are going to hire? Oh, Matt Eberflus. Can you not disagree with? You have to agree with me on that, right?
100%. 100%.
How can any of us believe that Ryan Poles, that was his first decision? When you saw Ryan Poles today on the stadium, sitting there on the podium with Kevin Moore and blah, 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 and Ryan Poles just sitting there like, in my head, I'm thinking, I never wanted Matt Eberflus. I told him I wanted this guy. I got the job because I chose Matt Eberflus. I have to sit here and eat this. And if they would have just listened to me, we wouldn't be in this position. Because on top of that, I wanted Harbaugh last year. Go ahead, Aldo. What do you think about that, Aldo? Do you think any truth to that?
I think there is a lot of truth. I saw poor Ryan Poles sitting there next to Papa Kevin Warren. It was like he was, in a corner. And, Ryan Poles is 6'4", 250 pounds. And they gave Warren isn't that big. They gave him a big chair so that he could be above Ryan Poles and look like the big man. He starts off that press conference talking for 8 minutes
about coach, right? Big old guy.
About shit. He didn't sound convincing at all in terms of what he's doing for this team. He just, in even a half sentence, just mentioned about building the new stadium when that was the real reason he was hired, because of the success of the Minnesota Vikings stadium. He just fluffed that off. Well, you know why? Because it's just another failure during this Poles-Warren era. And I am sick of it, just like you are. And there's a picture floating around. I posted it on my X account at Barroom Network of the three McCASKEY brothers sitting there listening to the press conference, and they look like Matt Eberflus. Like Matt Eberflus's dad and uncles. I mean, it's a bad. This organization is really starting to repulse me. And if it wasn't for the fact that I've been a fan since the 1960s, I would have given up on them. But I want to see them succeed. I do believe in Thomas Brown. I'm anxious to hear your thoughts on Thomas Brown and what he could potentially do these next 5 games.
I'm going to tell you what. I don't. After the fiasco of the fucking incompetence of everything for not only this past season, but for the last however many seasons you want to go back. Just pick however many years you want to go back, Aldo, up until this moment. And then they have the McCASKEY style audacity to like just as much as they fucked up the fucking the hire of what's his name back in the
Shane Waldron, Matt Nagy?
Before where they announced him the head coach.
McGinnis, Dave McGinnis.
Dave McGinnis, like just stupid. And I'm supposed to believe what I'm seeing here. I've listened to you a lot. I've listened to a lot of other people a lot. And I know that we all have the same sentiment. I listened to Kenneth Davis, who's going to be joining us either this Thursday or next Thursday from the former NBC Sports Chicago.
I hear you.
Turning into fucking whatever the fuck CHGO wannabes and getting rid of all their top guys like Kenneth Davis and Glenn Morgan, who were like big people that have been there for a while. That's annoying to me. A whole different spectrum, but like listening to them say, I lost my train of thought. Fuck.
The reporters saying that you've been listening to a lot of reporters saying stuff about
reporters saying shit about.
Happens to me, man.
Totally hate when that happens.
It's that good reefer that you're smoking.
Yeah, and I'm trying to multitask. I don't have a producer tonight. I'm like, let me just move this over here. Like, what was I saying?
Fucking Carl, where are you?
It is just it's the entire. It's come down to why has this happened, and let's start looking further into how and why this happened, and I think that either a lot of us are too young to remember or too young to know, and we didn't do our due diligence on the history of this team, or we're just kind of like blasé to it and just don't think of it or did not remember it. And that's why I wanted to have you on. Actually, good point. Leading into, I wanted to talk with you about Muggs Halas.
Mm-hmm.
George Halas Jr., for anyone that doesn't know who he is. DGG Entertainment, thanks for hanging out with us tonight. Fuck the Lions, but I will say this, I'm rooting for you to win the Super Bowl. Go get him, guys. Go get him.
I'm not. They're not going to make the Super Bowl. That's a one of the NFL teams that's still a Super Bowl virgin, and they're going to remain a virgin. They're going to get. Can I swear on this show?
Fuck yeah, you can.
They're going to get fucked in the ass.
You haven't heard me swear already?
I just want to make sure. I'm smoking some good herb too. What do you think? You're the only one? They're going to get fucked in the ass, and they're going to enjoy it so much they're just going to stay in the playoffs and not go to the Super Bowl.
DJJ Entertainment, I'm not hating on you at all, man. I'm rooting for you. I hope you win the fucking whole thing. You guys have never won a Super Bowl. I applaud your good fortunes since you've gotten Dan Campbell and what you guys have done. You turned Jared Goff into, like, I think he's an MVP candidate personally. I hope you guys win it all. I'm rooting for you to take it to represent the NFC North in the Super Bowl for the first time in your entire existence. I hope you win it all. So please, Aldo Gandia's blah blah blahs. They do not reflect the overall statement of BCP tonight.
That's right. And DJJ, I really, truly, I applaud Brad Holmes and what he's done with that organization. I thought the Campbell hire was the stupidest thing ever, but he's proven himself and proven me wrong. And you guys have a dynamite team. And unfortunately, all those injuries on defense might stop you from getting to the Super Bowl. But if you get there, I'm going to be happy for all the good people in Michigan. The bad people can still go fuck themselves.
Yeah, like Don Burrs. Yeah. Don Burrs of the world. Jeez, you guys. Just accept some fucking. When you get the compliments, just accept them. My God. So, Aldo, people, I mean, I don't know if people recognize this, realize this, forgot it, don't know it, haven't done the history research on this team. But George Halas Sr. died in 1979 after the final game of the season.
Mm-hmm.
And he was the next one to own this team. He had the will from his father, George Halas Sr., willed to him to own this team. when he died, that will went to Virginia McCaskey. Virginia and the McCASKEY'S decided to write his two children, Stephen, and I apologize, I don't remember his daughter's name because all I'm focused on is his son, Stephen, spelled with a PH, Stephen, Stephen Halas. He essentially had the rights to this team from his father dying. But after Virginia inherited the team, rather than the inheritance going to his children, it went to his sibling. And the McCASKEY'S and her came together to write his two children out of the will. Well, he was divorced. Muggs Halas was divorced, Aldo, when he passed away at 54 years old of a heart attack.
Yeah.
And if you think about the McCASKEY family, George Halas Sr. lived a long, fruitful life. Virginia is like apparently never going to die. She's 100 going on 102, and she's just fucking making eggs every morning and driving her car and shit. And so his ex-wife and his two children decided to take the McCASKEY'S to court over his death and being written out of the will, Mr. Gandia.
I did not know any of this. Please continue. It's fascinating.
Well, it's all on Wikipedia. That's where I found it. So
okay.
I'm not saying Wikipedia is like the all-knowing, be-knowing truth, but
then, it's all sourced information.
Yeah, they'd say people are putting it in. It's debunked if it's wrong, right?
Yeah.
So during this lawsuit of them being removed, his children, Muggs Halas, George Halas Sr.'s children, after his death at 54, which seemed really odd to the family because nobody had died that young, got written out of the will. His ex-wife and his two kids took the McCASKEY'S and Virginia to court over this whole thing. And they had his body exhumed.
Wow.
Exhumed, Aldo, to have a second autopsy done. And the coroner found, the second doctor who's doing the second autopsy, found that all of his organs had been replaced with sawdust.
Holy shit.
Replaced with sawdust.
So what do you think that means?
The coroner said, I'm just being Johnny Carson right now.
Yeah, that's what it was.
The coroner went on to say that we don't normally do this.
That's wild.
That's wild and crazy stuff right there. We normally put the organs back because they might need to examine them in the future. And that back in 1984, 83, 84, 85, whenever that happened, when they exhumed his body. If that would happen right now, what the fuck do you think would happen? Like, there'd be so many people on top of that shit. Wait a second. But back in 1980, nobody cared. Nobody was paying attention to that shit.
All right.
So meanwhile, his two children get written out of the will, Mr. Gandia, one of them being a son who should have been the heir apparent. And his father was like, by all accords, as we talked about, I think before the show, he hired, go ahead and remind us, Jerry Vinisi, George Halas Jr. was building that team that eventually won the Super Bowl in the 80s.
That's right. He hired Jim Finks, which was the huge turnaround.
Jim Finks, Jerry Vinisi, and then he just dies suddenly. That's why they were thinking, like, why would they write our kids out of the will? And why did he die so young when nobody else in our family has died this young? So they took him to court and they exhumed his body. This happened. I'm not making this up. They exhumed his body years later to have it re-autopsied and found all of his fucking organs were replaced with sawdust. And I just want to ask everyone here in chat, I want to ask you, Aldo, why? Why would anyone do that when the coroner himself said, we always put the organs back? We don't do that.
Right.
So are you okay with that? You want to interject before?
Before you go on, I just want to say I took a peek at the Wikipedia page, and it is a real compelling story that I wasn't quite familiar with, or at least I don't remember. And I would love it if some enterprising reporter dug into this again. There you go. Filmmaker, podcaster, what have you, because that is a fucking, like a cold case, Dateline type
Right.
of thing. That is a
Right.
fascinating thing. And it says here that Stephen, who was the grandson on the Halas side, he says, I don't consider myself part of the family since my grandfather, Muggs Halas, died. Not one member of the McCASKEY'S called to tell me or my sister that he, George Sr., had died. I found out about it on the news. I haven't talked to any of them since my father died. That's wild.
Wow. I didn't know that.
Yeah. This is, I hate to be a conspiracy theorist, but this would be a fun one. Incompetent football owners suspected. Yeah, I lost. I'm hosting the show by myself. Suspected of killing George Halas' son. What happened to your camera? That weed that he's smoking is really good. Really good. So anyway, I got to tell you, man, I might look into this more. It would be, one of the things that I've been talking about is with John Buffon is doing a documentary on his uncle's life. Doug Buffon played 15 seasons for the Bears. And I, this is hilarious. And, I think it's time that guys the age of Carl and some of the other young bloods who are, fanatic fans of the Chicago Bears, that they learn the story of Doug Buffon, because it's highly unlikely that number 51, Dick Butkus, would have made it to the Hall of Fame or played as well as he did if it wasn't because of Doug Buffon. His story needs to be shared with people. And this Halas story has got me, man. This is hilarious shit. Carl, you better jump in here. I don't know what's going on. Carl's producers, the BCP producers in the chat room, and I don't know where my man, Mr. Shorty, is. Anyway, I'll continue. Well, this press conference today, it was one of the most embarrassing days in Bears organization. This was Kevin Warren trying to flex his muscles, trying to sound like he was in charge, and putting Ryan Poles in a demeaning position. Warren apologized for what he did to Eberflus, taking away his dignity by having him on that press conference the day that he was fired. And he apologized, He said, hindsight being 2020, I wish we wouldn't have done it that way, but you live and learn. Well, what the fuck did he do today to Poles? What the fuck did he do to him? He put him out there like the kid who had done something bad in the classroom, and he's sitting over in the corner. Doesn't talk for the first 9 minutes. He's got his head down. He looks, like he's so damn sad. This should have been Warren saying maybe 2 minutes worth of stuff, and then saying, I'm going to turn it over to the general manager of the Chicago Bears, who's going to share with you our plans and what's happened to date. And to get the fuck out of there. And then come back to answer questions, and not just answer, what was it, less than a dozen questions today. And all of a sudden you hear the Bears media guy saying, that's it. It's like, okay, you guys don't want to spend time talking to the media so that they can talk about what is the state of the stadium, the one that you said we were going to have shovels in the ground by 2024. Mr. Shorty, are you there? Are you there?
I'm trying. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
I got cut off. Look at what I was just saying. The fucking internet just cut me off.
Yeah, it's the fucking the McCaskey family. They're
Bro.
They're like the fucking, yeah, the McCaskey.
What the fuck just happened? All of my audio shit just cut out of me, and I had to open my laptop.
Looked like you were bent over. Somebody was screwing you from behind.
I was getting fucked by the McCASKEY'S right now. This is ridiculous.
That's wild.
All right, so
With this camera angle, it looks like you're at a gay bar. And the lights on the ceiling.
oh my god.
So
Look what happens. I'm in the middle of a rant.
That was a good one too, man.
Everything just got cut off. All of my sound system, everything removed from my computer. You tell me if this is a conspiracy.
I don't know, man. You got the Ghost of Judah tribe here. Huh? He's still alive in your podcast.
Hey, the Ghost of Judah tribe super chatted us, bro.
All right, way to go, Ghost.
Hey, we deal with kindness over here, Aldo.
Yeah, that's the way to be, man. Don't be like me. I'm a fucking hater.
Carl, are you there? You want to hop in for a second while I try to get my audios and videos out by,
Can you guys hear me? Can you hear me?
Right now, who's trying to ban me?
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Let me remove Dan. Are you cool with me removing you?
Yeah, I'm gonna go try to fix because literally I was in a rant about the fucking Mugs conspiracy death, and I just got everything cut off on my computer over this.
That's wild.
Just fire the McCASKEY'S,
You're
man.
fucking telling me it's wild. I've got all this
timing
shit
is everything.
I have to. Give me a second. I'll be right back. Carl,
okay. How's it going, Aldo?
It's going well. You know, that fucking guy is so high right now. He's wearing an Urlacher jersey.
That was it's backwards. He thinks he's making a huge statement, which props to him. But he's still wearing the Bears merch, man. Like.
Exactly. So am I. So I'm the idiot too.
This ghost, man.
What do you think about the story that he was sharing about, potentially the McCASKEY'S being involved in something shady with the inheritance and all that shit?
I mean, whenever you hear the media, especially it's like Sunday Night Football loves to stroke Virginia McCASKEY, beautiful woman, nice lady, all these things. Mm-hmm. At that point, I really wouldn't be surprised, right? Like they're putting on a front almost.
It's weird because I'm old enough to remember when her husband was still alive, who was the original McCASKEY. I don't know if his name was Brian. I forgot what his first name was. But this guy was a tall guy. He looked like he might have been like 6'2". He was always dressed to the T's. And he sounded like one of these guys that might be appointed to be ambassador of France or ambassador of the United Kingdom or something. That's the aura he gave out, But those are the guys you got to be afraid of. Those are the guys who are involved with killers. I'm just kidding, Mr. McCASKEY family. I'm just kidding.
We're kidding. We're kidding.
Exactly.
We're kidding.
Please. We're just riffing here. But those are the guys who, usually you see on these Dateline episodes who are involved in murders and stuff. Ed McCASKEY. Thank you, PZ. But he came off always like highly polished, a super nice guy. But who knows? Based on this new information here about exhuming the body and finding only sawdust, it makes for a good murder mystery, man.
Yeah, I should turn this into a short, right? Like say that one sentence out loud. Muggs Halas's organs were replaced with sawdust. Just say that.
Muggs Halas is you should leave it for Shorty. That's his short. He broke the story. I'm just following along.
I don't know.
So, what do you think about what happened today at the press conference?
So I didn't get a chance to listen back to the full thing. I was entertained with the chat. I was also multitasking during work, so I didn't get a chance to listen back to it. The first segment of it with the two buffoons. I don't know what I want to call them yet. Warren and Poles. Really disheartening stuff. I mean, it literally looked like Warren had put Poles in a timeout. He just had a totally different demeanor. And if the line that he's going to take is saying that he believed in Eberflus and they had to cut the cord short and he's sad that they had to fire essentially his friend, I understand it, but it just felt off. But then, flip side, everything complete opposite with Thomas Brown. Thomas Brown was like a ray of sunshine in a fucking storm. It was such a refreshing thing. And I really had not immediately fallen for Thomas Brown's kind of, I don't know, his charisma, just, crowning him immediately after one press conference. I really wasn't about it. But I tweeted out today, I'm ready to go to war for Thomas Brown. Thomas Brown, I think, did a great job. I think that what he's trying to stand for is going to be amazing. I'm excited. Wait, are we not good, Dan?
You have got to be fucking kidding me.
What's wrong?
I can't believe that just happened right now.
But the computer's back. Is that your laptop you're on?
Listen, I have 3 fucking computers here. I have one. This is my Mac is hooked up to all my sound system and everything. It's like buried under all this shit that I have here because I have a bunch of. It's too much to explain.
Porn magazines and shit.
In the middle of my rant. Yeah, in the middle of my
condoms.
Fucking my all of my input, software that you have, everything just stops working. It will not work with my computer right now. I had to disconnect my computer, unplug it, and go to it just like I'm using it if I'm sitting at a Starbucks.
Jeez.
No headphones, no mic, nothing. In the middle of a rant about a conspiracy about Muggs Halas.
You know what I've learned in all the years that I've been doing this is the more you visit porn sites, the more it fucks with your computer.
I only visit porn sites on my phone because of that.
Aldo, invest in an ad blocker, man.
That's right.
If you want to get fancy, I'll get you a DNS blocker set up for Christmas. But Jesus.
I'm good. I learned my lesson. I use that other computer now for porn.
I only visit porn sites on my phone because of that now.
There you go. I like this shot, man. Your graphics are great. Production values. Damn, BCP. I'm down with them.
Man, I appreciate that. Thank you.
Carl was just letting us know his thoughts on, the press conference today, and his thoughts echo mine. Not impressed at all with how Warren and Poles did. It was a kind of embarrassing situation for Poles. And Thomas Brown, man, I unlike Carl, I was fascinated by him from the very first press conference and said he could be the one. Why did I feel that way? Because I've gone through Nagy and Eberflus and Trestman. Those 3 stooges, have really made me wonder, will we ever get an articulate alpha male as our head coach? And even John Fox sounded like an old 80-year-old guy when he took over. So those 4 coaches were just awful. And Lovie Smith, he had great success, but he didn't. Anytime he was in the press conference, I didn't want to run through a wall for him. And Carl was right. I want to run through a wall as a fan. And if I was lucky enough to be a player, I will be running through a wall for Thomas Brown. And I think he's smart enough, and I think he's going to command the respect of the players. And I hope he wins the job because it will be good for Caleb to have that continuity. To bring in another offensive coordinator, 3 in 1 year, it's like, wow, that's putting a lot on the kid. Our best hope, and I know Brandon feels this way too. Brandon Lawson, my buddy who's in the chat, this is our best hope, man, that this guy, Thomas Brown, is the guy that's going to take us to the promised land. And I got a good feeling that he might, man.
So, Shorty, I'm going to get out of here. It's your guys' show. But I've taken a completely different stance on the head coaching position, and I'm living in a magical fantasy la la land. It will not happen, okay? If Thomas Brown... Go ahead, Shorty.
No, finish.
If Thomas Brown is worth his weight in anything, and we think that he's a good offensive coordinator, it's going to be too late. He's going to end up being a head coach somewhere. If by chance he doesn't get scooped up as a head coach, there's only one way that Thomas Brown can return to the Chicago Bears as the offensive coordinator. And I feel like that would only be under the tutelage of Sean McVay. So yeah. I am so hell-bent, or I can't think of the word. I'm so positive in my thinking that Caleb Williams is the man. Mm-hmm. You have to go out and pair him with the best of the best. And if you have the domino effect, Matt Stafford retires, Cooper Kupp says, hey, my knees are giving out, I got to get traded to a winner, Sean McVay may be there for the taking. You're going to have to give up some serious draft capital. I'll leave you guys with some homework. Look up the head coaches that have been acquired via draft capital. That is the best and most surefire way to make sure that you get it right and not risk it on chance. With that, I will bid you guys farewell.
Before you leave, let me ask you a quick question.
Go ahead.
If you I know I saw a little bit of your show last night on BCP. Delusional is to it exactly.
Absolutely.
I saw you with one of the Bearski guys doing a show on BCP and on your own channel last night. If you all of a sudden started getting 50, 60, 150,000, 200,000 views, and all of a sudden you became the face of BCP, right? And my man, Mr. Shorty, recognizes this guy's a really hit with the audience. I'm gonna take a step back. But then at the start of 2025, he said to you, I want you to go back to producing, and I'm going to be the face of BCP. Would you gladly go back to being the producer? Because that's what you're asking of Thomas Brown.
I mean, that's kind of the hard thing here, right? Like, I don't think that Thomas Brown is going to be able to come back to the Bears to be just the offensive coordinator or be a part of the organization if he's not the head coach. But the only way that I see that being possible is if Thomas Brown builds rapport with Caleb. They like each other. They think it's the best option in the moment, but they just don't think he's ready to be the head coach. Right. Sean McVay, you uploaded the clip, Aldo. Sean McVay had glowing comments for him.
Yeah.
So if Thomas Brown felt like, you know what, I just need one more year to be the offensive coordinator with a proven guy that I know, and next year it'd be like a Ben Johnson effect, right? He'd be the most highly touted candidate for the next head coaching cycle. Again, I'm living in La La Land, and my underlying point is that Sean McVay would be the guy who I would want to pair with my quarterback because I believe that much in Sean McVay. And the draft capital at the end of the day, Bears aren't going to have the number 1 overall pick again, I don't think. So, whatever. Get it done.
All right. Get out of here. Go back to cross-dressing.
No, listen, Carl. I appreciate you hopping in and taking care of me while I got cut off from the internet because of my conspiracy rant about Muggs Halas. Being filled.
It looks like your head is turned around 180 degrees. That's a great image. Yeah, Carl's a good guy. You got a good producer there.
No, love Carl, man. Thank you.
And by the way, there's no fucking chance he's going to be the face of BCP. Not that face.
We're trying to help him out with his own channel, Thigh and Smy, though. Did he just pull me and leave you?
Probably.
Seriously, Carl, thank you. I really appreciate that. I don't know what the hell just happened there. That was weird. That I just got everything just died.
I don't know, man. I don't know if you should bring up that subject again. Never again.
My fucking soundboard just kicked me out. We just lost a shitload of viewers.
That is wild.
I mean, yeah, you tell me if that's a conspiracy or not. So that's why I'm wearing my fucking jersey backwards for the rest of the games I'm going to. 2 more games. One is going to be, they're both going to be with Jason UK from the UK. So Chris Watts is not coming this year. God, what was it? I wanted to get back to what I was talking about. What were you just talking about? You were talking about Thomas Brown. You wanted to ask me about what I thought about Thomas Brown.
Correct.
For me, Thomas Brown is the number 1 candidate to be the Bears head coach after this season. And for reasons that he better be. Right? Like, you can't, if you're going to fuck this up so bad, you better lock yourself into a great head coach.
Mm-hmm.
And not have to, at least if he's starting over again next season, Caleb, he's starting over with the same philosophy, the same concepts, the same. He's really not starting over again. He's already started over in the middle of the season, which really wasn't even starting over at that point because it was still taking over the play calling, the same plays, right? Just how you do it differently. The best thing that we can hope for as Bears fans is that Thomas Brown is a stud. He is the next Mike Tomlin. He can be here for the next 20 years. Mm-hmm. And his attitude and infectiousness wears off on the team, wears off on the media. That's the most important thing is the fucking media, Aldo. You gotta win over the media, or else they're just gonna keep lambasting you all the time unless you put them in their place. And it's the same thing with the fan base. The fan base feeds the media, vice versa. Somebody has to be able to control that. And we have not had a head coach to do that since Mike Ditka. And that's why I pounded the fucking table for Jim Harbaugh last year because he's the only one that could have done it aside from Bill Belichick, which fuck Bill Belichick. Nobody wants him anymore. But the Bears aren't going to give up that. You sit there watching Ryan Poles today, like I said before in the beginning of the show, his face looked like I never wanted Eberflus. And you made me hire him. I'm sitting here going, I told you guys so. That's what I saw today in the presser from Ryan Poles sitting there on the side with Kevin Warren starting off, like you said, like he's sitting on a bigger chair and his coat's twice as big and he's got a big tie. And he's just like, and he never really, I'd almost really rather have Ted Phillips back at this point.
Yeah. Yeah.
If it did come down to they interviewed all the head coaching candidates and they wanted Flus, and then they hired Ryan Poles, and then Ryan Poles was forced to hire him, and he's sitting up there with his dick in his hand going, I never wanted this guy to begin with. I told you guys from the beginning, but you never listened to me. And what am I supposed to do? Well, now you're ruining this guy's career. You're ruining his authenticity, for lack of better words. You know what I'm talking about?
Absolutely.
You're ruining his reputation.
Mm-hmm.
And so he has to sit up there with his dick in his hand going, it's not my guy. It never was my guy. And now Kevin Warren, who's another McCaskey hire, is above him, hired after him, who should have been hired before him. Like, why can't they get any of this right? Why can't Ted Phillips just go, hey, since you're going to hire a new team president, I'm going to retire in a year. So why don't you wait until I retire and go look for the guy and announce his fucking presidency after I retire?
Yep. You're absolutely right. It's pretty simple stuff.
Bass backwards at all costs, Aldo.
I'm telling you, he was so stupid. He was so unwise. He was like an unwise man.
Totally unwise.
You're absolutely right, and it's actually something that I've been saying for really since I started podcasting. I remember being on with the guys who are now over at TTNL and telling them the problem with this franchise is that they're always out of sync. That's the word I used back then. They don't synchronize hiring the general manager, then coach, then the quarterback, all in the same year or very, very close to it. They got this perpetual motion thing where, they bring in a quarterback and then the next year it's a new head coach with a new head coordinator. It's all fucked up. When Jake Cutler was the quarterback and Ryan Pace came in and decided to keep Cutler around for 3 years, that was the biggest mistake. He should have told McCaskey, I know you just paid this guy, but we got to get rid of him and we got to start from scratch. We got to draft the quarterback or we got to acquire another quarterback because this guy is carrying too much baggage. And I'm saying that as a guy who defended Cutler a lot. But the right way to make a move on an organization is to get it all sequenced properly, because if you don't, then you're just forcing relationships. One of the things that I learned in business is you don't force people to work. You let those relationships happen organically. You're going to mentor this person. That doesn't work. A good young person is going to find a mentor, and then that works better because the mentor kind of holistically got into it with the mentoree. It's the same thing in coaching. These relationships are being forced together. I remember reading Mark Trestman's book. It was called Perseverance. And he devoted a whole chapter to that very theory because he was with 10 or 9 different teams in 10 NFL seasons. He was jumping from team to team to team. And a lot of those organizations that he went to, the other coaches are like, who is this fucking nerdy guy? He was treated like shit, and he didn't achieve the type of success that he was capable of until he went to the CFL. And then he comes back here to the Bears, and he really fucks up his reputation. So that's another story. But getting the timing and the sequencing right in life, in business, in sports is really, really fucking important.
I don't want to go into a long story because it's too long for the show. This show is too valuable to talk about concrete, but
you get to the point like we got last year, and you're like, this coach is a moron. You had enough games under your belt to know that he was not a good game manager. He was not a good situational football guy. We had already lost 9 games under our watch with him under those circumstances. We had already gotten to 4th and goal 3 times against the Commanders and called a fucking shotgun fucking running play 3 times in a row and got stopped at our goal line. It had already happened before, and you're sitting here with a rookie quarterback who's supposed to be, by all accounts, your fucking savior, and you're gonna pair him with the same dildo. I'm talking about a dildo, although like a dildo. Vibrates them all. Like,
you like to stroke my pussy, darling?
No, you go out and you fucking get the best of the best.
Yeah, exactly.
And
fuck the game show.
A lot of people have said that Kevin Warren is the reason why they didn't. That Kevin Warren, his beef with Jim Harbaugh and at Michigan and the Big Ten election was the reason why he was the one that put his foot down. I don't know if that's true. It's only speculation. There's been a lot of clamor from fans for him as the coach, and look what he's doing with. This is why I wanted to talk to Greg Gabriel, which I'm hoping to have him on this Saturday.
Okay.
To just like, because this whole beef with him and I on Twitter came about Jim Harbaugh, and it was like, okay, well, Jim Harbaugh hasn't lost a fucking game since you brought that up a month ago.
All right.
And we've lost 4 more.
Yeah.
So like Jim Harbaugh, he's a coach's coach. His dad was a coach. His brother's a coach. Like, come on. And if it comes from the from the president down, Kevin Warren, that's not his guy, that for me is an out for Kevin Warren. Kevin Warren doesn't deserve this job anymore, and he never did. And so it just comes down to, like I was saying at the beginning of the show, before I got cut off for complaining about them because the fucking internet shut me down for bitching about conspiracy theories that are true with the McCASKEY'S.
That's funny.
Is that Kevin Warren is a McCaskey hire.
Kevin Moore is a McCaskey hire. Let me share some thoughts about Harbaugh. And I can't argue with anyone who is going to say Jim Harbaugh is a good coach. He is a great coach. There's no fucking doubt about it. He's had success everywhere he's gone to. When he went to San Diego State, he had success there. When he went to Stanford, he had success there. When he went to the San Francisco 49ers, he had success there. He went to 3 NFC championship games, NFC conference championship games, 1 Super Bowl. When he went to Michigan, got a national championship. He's had success everywhere. He's a damn fucking good coach. But along the line, at all of those places, he's left a lot of enemies. At the University of Michigan, the athletic director and him didn't get along. With the San Francisco 49ers, the owner of the team and Jim hardly talked at all the last year and a half that he was there. At Stanford, he had problems with the university presidents. At Michigan, he was suspended 3 games and was probably going to get suspended again for that hidden camera thing. So there's been all of this suspicious behavior about him, all of this behavior that's brought questions, which is why, somebody like Greg Gabriel says, no way, don't want him anywhere near Halas because he's going to bring all that drama. And that is a concern, one that has to be weighed. And I think your theory about, Kevin Warren at the Big Ten and probably butting heads with Jim Harbaugh because Harbaugh was critical of how COVID was handled, I think that's a very legitimate theory. So I don't think we'll ever see Harbaugh at Halas.
Let me ask you this: for everything that you just said, if you take into all accounts that the management and they all thought the same thing, and that's all true, is any of that worth a fucking pile of dog shit? One piece of dog shit. If that said coach gives you 1 Super Bowl, if this is about winning Super Bowls. If you do not win the Super Bowl, you are last place. No matter how far you got, Aldo, you're still last place. The 2006 team, with our brains being blown out of our skulls watching Devin Hester return that opening kickoff, still were last place. So if you have to go through all that bullshit, you have to give up some of that, and you have to deal with some of that, and you win a championship or two, what does it matter? It matters nothing, because your fate is sealed as an owner, as a general manager, as a president, because you hired that guy to get you that. And you will forever live in that lore of having won that one fucking year, because nobody wins it every year. You're lucky enough to win it once in 10 years.
So how many Super Bowls has Jim Harbaugh won as a coach in the NFL?
No.
Go to bed.
But he got them to one. And there's a Mandela effect that I'm claiming now, because how do you remember that Super Bowl going down, by the way? Him against Harbaugh, against the Harbaugh brothers.
Go to.
Who the hell is that?
I'm telling you, he was so stupid. He was so unwise. He was like an unwise man.
Carl just hopped in to produce the show so he could give us all of his new sound bites.
I love it. I love
What?
it.
No super chats?
How do you remember that Super Bowl going down? Who?
Well, it was a really close match.
There was one team ahead, right? And then the lights went out, and then the other team came back and won the game. How do you remember that?
Jim Harbaugh was on his way to beat his brother John Harbaugh, and then the lights went out, and the momentum that the Ravens had, that the 49ers had, went away, and that's how John Harbaugh won his first Super Bowl, and hopefully only Super Bowl, because Thomas Brown is going to win all the rest of them.
I implore you to type that into your computer right now. Who is leading the 49ers Ravens Super Bowl at halftime?
Go to.
You're going to find out that you're wrong.
Really?
I did the same thing. I went to the same process.
He was so stupid.
The Ravens were winning that game at halftime.
Oh, you're right. 21-6. Holy shit. And then the 49ers scored 17 points in the third quarter.
Yeah. Wow. I'm piling that onto the Mandela effect. You know what that is, right?
What? No super chats?
It's that I've been in captivity for 20 years.
Well, the Mandela effect is like they literally have a website about it now. Like people remember something as one way. Like the Mandela effect was based off of people thought that Nelson Mandela died in prison.
Yeah.
And it turns out he actually got out of prison and then went on to have another illustrious career and died years later. And so there's a lot of things that have been added on to that, like the Berenstain Bears. Mm-hmm. Berenstain Bears, as you and I know it, spelled Berenstain with an E-I-N, are now A-I-N.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And things like that. Fruit Loops are spelled differently. Because there's all this kinds of shit that's going on. And I swear to God, I ask everyone the same question. Everyone gives me the same answer. The 49ers were kicking their ass going into halftime, and the lights went out. And then they lost the game because of that delay.
Wow.
We are all wrong in that memory.
No shit.
The Ravens were kicking their ass. The Niners came back, and they still lost.
You mean to tell me that I really never fucked Jennifer Lopez?
No, you did.
Because
when you were jerking off.
Are drilled over and over and over and over and over and over. This
That's
is
what she said.
You do this.
I've always looked at it like this. Like, if there's a hot chick you really want to bang, like, just jerk off to it. Because if you fucked her, in 5 minutes after that, it would just be a memory.
Give it to us.
I would hate to disappoint the lady if I really fucked her.
No matter how you look at it, 5 minutes later, it would be a memory, and you'd be like, you'd just be jerking off to that memory for the rest of your life.
On your spotted dick.
You might as well just jerk off to it in the moment, and then it'll be the same thing.
All right, give me a minute.
That way you're not cheating on your wife.
There you go. I can start not cheating on my wife yet. Did the Monopoly man have a monocle? Asked T.
Thank you,
Collins.
T. Collins. That's another one of them. Everyone, do you remember him having the monocle?
Yes.
He didn't.
Really?
No. Look it up right now on your computer. I'd love
Go to.
All right, that's enough, Carl. Jesus Christ. Look it up. He never had a monocle.
No, that's not true. That's not true. I am going to show you. No, I thought I was doing it on my show. Let's see if I can do it this way.
Here's another one for you. Did Richard Simmons always wear a headband?
Can you see that?
Yeah.
He's wearing a monocle on the left.
On the left, but what is that site of? Is it
So this is Snopes.com. They check shit to see if it's true, and they say it's true that the Monopoly mascot, Mr. Monopoly, has never worn a monocle in any standard Monopoly game produced in the United States. However, it's in the Monopoly Junior game, a version of the same game for younger children. It does show him in a monocle. So there you go.
How about you remember the movie Shazam with Sinbad?
Yeah,
where he played the genie that came out of the bottle.
Right.
There's literally like a YouTube clip of people asking him about that movie. He's like, I never did that movie. I don't know what you guys are talking about. And you could not find it anywhere. Like the movie did not exist.
Who said that they weren't in the movie?
This is part of the Mandela effect.
Oh, okay.
People are saying that movie never existed, and it was Kazam with Shaq that you're remembering.
Yes, that's right. That's right.
There was two movies, one with Sinbad and one with Shaq. But now, if you go to IMDb.com and look up Kazam or Shazam, it says, we found it. We finally found the lost clips of Shazam.
Really?
It's not a joke. There's like a real thing with the Mandela effect, which probably has something to do with all of the fucking hadron colliders we're putting all over the planet, and like creating new universes and causing new dimensions that interact with each other, and all of a sudden Shazam doesn't exist anymore. And
you are smoking some really good shit tonight.
I am. Well, I'm actually from Illinois, so
I see. I looked up Shazam real quick, and I see three titles: Shazam 2019, Shazam Fury of the Gods 2023, Shazam TV series from 74 to 77, Superman Shazam: The Return of Black Adam, and Beat Shazam. So I don't know what frankly I don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
All right, I'll show you.
Okay. Okay, so it's real and I'm not crazy, says Bearski Film. The Bearski Film. I think it was a bust and he denies it, but I swear I saw Jingle all the way, and the only reason I knew Sinbad was from Shazam with Sinbad. Interesting. I vaguely remember that too, now that you guys are talking about it. Now, you guys were kids when this shit came out with Sinbad and Shazam, right?
Yeah.
I was trying to get laid.
It's actually on IMDb as Sinbad's Shazam. Is the Mandela effect real?
Sinbad's, and
I looked this up. I literally pulled it up on the show like a few months ago, and I showed the clip of it saying we found Shazam. Now I'm looking on IMDb and I can't find it either.
I'm telling you, the Mandela effect.
It's really trying to affect itself on us.
Oh shit!
Anyway, I don't know where that rant came from on the side, but
that was a good one.
It had something to do with the Bears. I got all fucked up. My whole rant was ruined tonight when I got shut down by the internet for.
I gotta tell you,
Halas.
You really introduced a fascinating subject to us about Muggs Halas, his death, and the suspicious circumstances behind it that led to his body being exhumed, finding sawdust in his spine and bone areas and stuff.
All his organs replaced with sawdust.
That is totally fucking wild. We got to look more into that. Maybe work on a project together about sharing that story.
Absolutely, I'd love to do that with you. I mean, this needs to be exposed because this, if the Halas name, if his son, who was doing well with the team at the time, would have lived, or even if he died unexpectedly of a heart attack, and his children would have overtaken the team, and they would have been the rightful heirs of this team. His son and his children would have been the owners of this team, and who knows where the fuck we would be right now. Listen, I said it earlier in a chat. It was this team is run by a bunch of Yale and Harvard graduates that are just dumb. Like they have no idea what they're like. Harvard graduates, Yale graduates that cheated on all their tests to get graduation to get their certificate to graduate from those schools. Because how the fuck do you not? If you really are a fan of the team, George, like you and I are, Aldo, you do not grow up in it. Like if your dad was a mechanic his whole life, how would you not know how to work? My dad was a fucking I redid an entire renovation on this house. I did it all myself. Carpentry, electrician, plumbing, everything, all inspected, perfectly done, because I learned it from my dad. If you can't fucking pick up on what your family is laying down, how fucking incompetent are you?
It's true. You know what I learned from my dad? How to drink.
There you go. At least you learned something from him.
Exactly.
My dad never drank.
I do it the right way. I don't beat my mom or my wife. Hey, while you're delivering another ready for shorts rant, I want to show you if I can get this on the screen, and I will. Look at this picture. I don't know if you can see. Oh, there it is. Those are the McCASKEY'S who were at the press conference today.
Which one's Brian?
Brian, I'm pretty sure, is on the left.
Okay.
But it almost looks to me like the brother on the right wants to kill George so he can take over. And then the brother on the left is thinking, I got to kill my brother over there so that I can be next in line for the George McCaskey successor, right? Don't they look like it?
And then look at George. He looks fucking clueless.
No.
He's sitting there with his fingers crossed. He's kind of like got that look on his face like, the water is not a solid? Water is liquid. Is that what you're saying? I can drink it?
That's right.
Fucking the other two guys. The guy on his left, on our right, is like, fucking kidding me? We've been drinking water our entire lives. And Brian on his right is going, on our left is like,
I'm telling you, George says that he's just a fan. He looks like a fan there. He's so fucking pissed off. He looks angry. He's like, I can't believe I'm a fan of this team. Wait a minute. I'm the fucking owner of the team. Somebody should tell him that. You're not a fan. You're a fucking owner. Yeah, you're absolutely right. The fact that he is willing to admit he knows nothing about football is a travesty. It's a travesty to him personally. He grew up in the business. He was the ticket manager. He could go to all the practice. You think he would ask questions? Why is that guard pulling on that play? Why is he takes sometimes a 3-step drop and a 5-step drop, the quarterback, and sometimes a 7? He should be asking all those questions. He should be having conversations with other owners and general managers and picking up knowledge around the league. But no, he needs help hiring a GM. He needs help to hire a head coach. He is clueless. He's hired another clueless guy to build the stadium who promised there will be shovels in the ground in 2024. And it looks like he'd be lucky if he'll have shovels in the ground in 2025. And now that guy wants to also make football decisions. This is a travesty. I'm going to start wearing all my shirts backwards too, bro.
He fucking. There's so much to go off of what you just said. Like, they just bought the Arlington Heights property and paid to have the fucking track torn down, Aldo. And they own it. It's theirs. They can build a stadium. They can build hotels. They can build a fucking another ballpark for the Sox training camp. They can build restaurants. They can build, you name it. And they're still sitting there with their fucking dicks in their hand going, we want a publicly owned stadium on the lakefront. Are you fucking kidding me? Like, what law school did you graduate from? Where did you get your brains from with money with this team? Because you don't even do that right. If you just, granted, you bought all that property. It is an investment. You will make a return on it. But you can go from a $6.5 billion franchise currently, which I'll get into in a second, into a $10 billion franchise in a matter of years. You can pay off that new stadium with your own money, not publicly funded, not coming out of our asses, that we're still paying for in Chicagoland for the current fucking stadium that's still not paid off. You can, what was my side note on that? They own that property. They could build the stadium,
build all the hotels and shit like that.
Everything is yours. You own it all. Why do you so badly need to have it on the lakefront to where you're still willing to like make it publicly funded? You're still paying all that money for that stadium right now. Are they just like trying to buy time because they still owe $85 million on it? Because
I think
20 fucking years later.
That's a good point. In that, isn't there money still owed to the city by the Chicago Bears for the rental? In other words, their lease with the Chicago Park District is like for another 10 years. So if the stadium was ready in 3 years, they would have to pay still the rental price, pay it off, which would be several $1 million. So maybe that's why they're dragging the feet. But the way that I understand this thing is that somehow, some way, because again, they fucked up the sequencing of shit. They bring in Ryan Poles after Ted Phillips closed the deal for the Arlington property. So then Warren is brought in to help pave the way for the building of the stadium, but then he gets it. I live in downtown. We need it here in downtown with the beautiful skyline. I love the Chicago skyline. I see it every morning when I wake up because I live in downtown Chicago. This stadium belongs in downtown Chicago, and I'm going to make it. So we're taking our focus off of Arlington and focusing in on the lakefront. Meanwhile, the city, the Friends of the Lake organization, they're all saying, fuck you. We're not going to pay for it. We don't want you here because of the pollution involved and how it's going to disrupt the nature and stuff. And then now they announced 2 weeks ago, we're looking at the property from the former Michael Reese Hospital, which is just about a mile down the road near the lakefront. And that's a fucking catastrophe, too, because we know that there are security issues because the train tracks are running through there. The space is not as wide. You're not going to be able to build on it. There's not going to be any nightlife. You're asking fans to go to a fucked up part of town. This is a catastrophe. And I'm blaming those three men and Kevin Warren. And I'm not even going to blame Virginia because, frankly, I don't know if she knows what the fuck is going on. At her age, I'm not trying to be funny, but I do believe she's being spoon-fed oatmeal right now. I guess maybe I'm trying to be funny.
Tapioca pudding, for Christ's sake. She's living on soup. She's living on soup and the tears of bears. It's made out of the tears of Bears fans.
Oh, that's a great line. I love that. I
said that in your chat earlier today. It's like
I missed that.
You got to keep her going. You got to keep all the Bears fan agony going because we need more tears to keep her alive.
Yeah, it's sad, man. It really is sad. It makes you wonder: am I wasting my time?
Well, here's another thing I want you to think about before we end this tonight. This team, if this team is really worth $6.5 billion, 25 to 30% of that is going to become an inheritance tax when, and I mean like within the next 20 fucking seconds or 1 year from now, right. She's going on 102 or 103 or some shit. I think it's 100. Her birthday is January 5th. I think she's going to turn 102. Mm-hmm. She's going to be up there as one of the oldest people living on this planet.
It's a great point. Yes,
she is. And so when she does pass on, there is an inheritance tax now. So unless they have already finagled all their funds some way that we don't know about, and I'm not saying I know what they're doing, so they might be doing that. But from everything that I've read over all the years, there is other people that have invested in this team. I've been trying to look them up.
Andy McKenna is.
Thank you, Andy McKenna, and very little percent. There's another one, 7 or 8% each or something.
Mm-hmm.
Still, it's enough to there's going to be some outcome of that of $6.5 billion worth. It's going to, right. So once she goes, that inheritance tax is going to be real. It's going to be right now. You're going to get the inheritance of this team worth this much. You're going to have to pay this much. They're not going to be, they cannot pay that.
So you're saying they're going to have a cash flow problem?
Yes, like the only person that could pay that is like Elon Musk or the fucking owner of Amazon right now. People can just pull that much money out of their asshole and pay the tax of that.
Right.
To own it and inherit all of that. So if they were Yale and Harvard smart, you would think that they'd be like, we got to fucking unload this team now, man. We got to get rid of it now while it's peaked. It's peaked for us. And we can all live our lives with however many people in this McCaskey family, because God knows am I going to get cut off right now for saying this?
Probably.
Wrote off all of the other Halases from Mug's family out of the will.
Yeah.
And so all of our McCaskey-esques, it's all paid off for us. Sell it. Be done with it. Give it up to somebody who can actually run this team. Somebody who's actually competent. Somebody who has a brain. Somebody can at least use their brain enough with their money to know the Arlington Heights property is the way to go. They could build so much better parking there. Restaurants, hotels, the train goes right there. The train goes to 2 stops right there. You can get off at 1 stop and walk a half a mile and go right. Fuck, the Arlington stop would probably be in the same area. You just walk right in.
Right.
You walk from there to the stadium. It'd be no different than walking from like Michigan Avenue to the stadium.
Right.
Or take it to Arlington Park and just like walk right in. It's so mindlessly fucking obvious to do that, and yet they're still stuck on the lakefront. And Kevin Warren to me is just a McCaskey hire, and I see nothing coming of this. I see Kevin Warren up there trying to tell us that Ryan Poles does have the fucking power of this, but it's going to come down to conglomeration. But finally he will have the final say. Like, no, he is the fucking general manager, and you didn't hire him, Kevin Warren.
Right.
McCaskey's did after a firm, right before they hired their head coach that they interviewed.
So stupid.
Everything backwards. So just sitting up there, I can't. It's like I'm listening to it, and my brain is not working. It's just going.
Yeah.
Does that phrase fool me once?
Right. And I started complaining about the whole embarrassing thing with Eberflus and allowing him to do the press conference, and fans on social media were saying, "What do you care? We got rid of the guy." And I'm like, I care because this is just another example of how this organization fucks things up. I've lived through the Dave McGinnis stuff. I was actually at the Bears Cardinals regular season finale when Muggs Halas died. And somebody told me at the stadium, "Yeah, Muggs died today." I was like, "What?" I think I was like 18 years old then. And I've seen so much of the dysfunction with this team. I became a fan when they were 1-13 that year, and Halas was being interviewed and he was being challenged. Are you too old to run the team and stuff? It was embarrassing back then, but I fell in love with those players. I fell in love with the tradition that I read about in books. They were almost unbeatable in the 40s and 50s, and I knew that their time was going to come back again. But man, it's been just one Super Bowl and another Super Bowl appearance, and the promise of 2018 was double doinked away. And then outside of that, man, and a couple of Lovely Smith years. It's unbelievable. I put up a stat today. Did you see this, Shorty? The Bears have not had back-to-back winning seasons since 2005 and 2006. That's almost 20 years ago that they have not had back-to-back winning seasons. So, and it's not going to happen, in 2025. Hopefully 2025 and 2026 we'll get back to having winning seasons. But it's embarrassing. Really is.
I got to the point where I was like laying my hat on, hey, the Bears have only made the playoffs 5 times since I turned 18 in 1993.
Mm-hmm.
Or no, 1992.
Okay.
No, 93. Because I'm born on Christmas, so it's at the end of the year, so I always forget. Okay, so, but then I think to myself, that Nagy took us to the fucking playoffs 2 times in 4 years. He fucked that all up. Now I can't brag about that shitty stat anymore because now it's 7 times instead of 5. But it really should just, if that's the case, if we had such an incompetent coach in Matt Nagy who took us to the playoffs 2 out of 4 years and we fired him, I would gladly give up everything that we have going on right now coaching to bring back that Matt Nagy staff over this one. I mean, I do love Thomas Brown.
Yeah, I don't know, man. That's a tough one. I frankly don't want to see any more of Nagy. That second year he got into the playoffs was with an 8-8 record, and that year they expanded the playoffs from 6 to 7 teams, and so they basically created a playoff spot for a very mediocre team, and it was appropriate that an 8-8 team got in there. So I'm reluctant to applaud Matt Nagy for that. And plus, talk about leader of men. Matt Nagy, man, he came out of the same leadership school as Matt Eberflus. These guys, you could tell when they're fucking lying during press conferences. They got that liar face on, and they don't command a room. They don't command the media. I think you made a great point about the need to have somebody in that position of leadership that will tell the media, I'm going to be transparent with you until a point. And then when I can't, I'm going to either ignore your question or tell you to move on. And then if they ask one of those questions, I told you I'm not answering that question. Move on. Be stern with them, but respectful. We don't have that. We have Kevin Warren, behaving like a politician. That's what he came off as. Greg Gabriel said, oh, man, this guy's a super, super slick politician. I go, super slick? I might eliminate those words, but he's a politician. That's for sure. And right now hasn't proven anything to me. I liked his credentials when he came in. I was impressed with his resume, but what he's done these 18 months or so as the president of the Chicago Bears, they're going backwards on the whole stadium deal thing, and those performances where he seems to be elbowing Ryan Poles out of football decision making operations, decisions. It's a bad look. It's a fucking bad look.
It all comes down to McCASKEY'S made the hire, so you have to think in that term, right? So the McCASKEY'S, they, under Ted Phillips, which I almost would take back right now in that press conference, I'd rather have the fucking accountant talking than the preacher. It's like he was hired to be the new team preacher. And then we all want to thank God for everything. Fuck! I understand. It's religion out of this. This is football. I don't need to hear about your fucking John Sermon 18 or whatever the fuck. Listen, this has nothing to do with religion, but it has to do all football. So keep it out of that. Everyone has their things to say, like, oh, I want to thank God for, today I had a great game. I get it. Move on. But he always seems to preach like he's a fucking preacher. Like they hired him to be the team preacher. We all thought he was going to do great things with blah, blah, blah. But it comes down to the McCASKEY'S hired him, and they probably bought that property in Arlington Heights across the street from you. That would make you a goddamn millionaire if they just put the fucking stadium there. Times 2.
Yes.
And then they hire Kevin Warren because they really wanted to be on the lakefront. It's just their dream to have the most beautiful stadium on the lakefront. So we're going to hire him because he made this great deal with Minnesota got their stadium deal done. It's paid off now. Their stadium is paid off. The Bears, Chicago residents are still paying for Soldier Field.
That's right.
And it was built 20 years before the goddamn Viking Stadium was built. So it's like they almost hired him just to specifically try to make him happy and negotiate the lakefront thing. When he really should, if he was a true businessman, been like, do you realize what you have here?
Yeah.
Like you have a metal detector and you're pulling up gold Kruger from like the 1700s, like all over the place. Like, come on, dude.
Yeah.
And he hasn't done it. It's the same thing. And it comes down to Aldo. I have no faith it will end until this McCaskey ownership fucks off. And they go and they take their millions and they go invested in fucking water parks in fucking San Francisco because they clearly don't know how to use their money. Go build a water park. Go build a water park in Alaska. Because that's about how well you know how to use your money right now when you have this gold mine sitting in your lap and you're refusing to take advantage of it.
Yeah, we fans deserve answers. Oh, Carl left us, man. He lost the
he bugged out.
Fucker.
Carl saw me struggling with me getting taken down by the internet for calling out the Muggs Halas conspiracy. And he hopped in right at the needed time, so thank you, man. What's up, Tucker Zambrano? Got a little wasted in here. Chad Seeger hopping in again.
Leroy lives in Arlington Heights. He says he can walk to the stadium. He's probably closer than I am. So, Leroy, if they build the stadium, have you looked into what your property value, how much it will increase? Because I've done that. And my house, I'm not going to tell you how much I bought it for, but it will be $200,000 more in value according to similar samples in other cities, in other big cities. So I wouldn't mind that happening to my property values. Chad says the curse is real. Now, Chad, did you feel that before you heard the news from Mr. Shorty about what's happened, or did you feel that before?
I'm curious to know that question too, because I've been preaching about this since the Hail Mary game. I went off on a rant about this, about like, what the fuck would this team be like if Muggs Halas hadn't died prematurely? And I made a stupid comment by saying if he only had kids, and I remember after the show, I was like, that was stupid. I think he did have kids. So I looked it up. I started doing all the research on it. I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, he really died prematurely according to the rest of the family's age limits and as far as their death times and stuff. And they exhumed his body and found it full of fucking sawdust. Like, what?
That's amazing. There are a couple of people in the chat, I think it was Scottish Bear and a couple other people said that they were aware of the Muggs Halas story. And I might have been, but I forgot it. But I find that fascinating. I'm going to do my own research on that, and then we'll compare notes soon, okay?
Yeah, I would love for you to do that because I'll be honest, I'm going off of Wikipedia.
Yeah.
There has to be a lot more research done into this.
Exactly.
And it almost needs like a mini documentary made about it because
I'm telling you,
what the fuck is going on? Like, why? It doesn't make none of this makes sense, Aldo.
Mm-hmm.
None of this makes sense.
Yep. And Scottish Bear is right. You know, the fact that we don't have honey bears anymore, I mean, that's the biggest fucking conspiracy that I can think of. You know, those honey bears, I wish I could say that I fucked a honey bear, but I haven't. But I have fucked a couple of teddy bears in my life. Chuck Gowdy. Put Chuck Gowdy on it, says Tony. You know who Chuck Gowdy is?
Yeah, Chuck Gowdy, yeah.
Yeah, he's still around, still doing investigative reporting. He's like in a wheelchair, you know, in front of the Dirksen Federal Building.
I guarantee you he can figure that out, Tony Moy.
Fucking A. Brandon says, I used to think it was because we haven't had cheerleaders since '85, but now it's the fucking song. That is probably true. I thought it was Honey Bears too.
I'm pulling rib muscles. Ow! You gotta watch those rib muscles when you get older, man.
Yeah.
Pull them just laughing.
No, look at PJ's in the house. He just finished coming in from the movies.
What's up, PJ?
What movie were you watching, PJ? I know you were out some porn theater.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. I love myself some BCP, says Mr. Mayhem.
Mr. Mayhem, we love you, man. You came straight from the Barroom Network to be one of our fans too, and we love you and appreciate you, man.
By the way, the word mayhem is one of my favorite fucking words.
Great word.
Isn't that a great word? I mean, I've always wanted to name like a fantasy football team after it, and I've never gotten around to it. I want to name something Mayhem, and he's already taken the name Mr. Mayhem, so fuck.
A dog. Mayhem.
Right. That would be a good name for a dog, don't you think?
Yeah. What's your dog's name? Mayhem. Oh, fuck that guy.
Yeah, right. He's a fucking killer, and then out comes a little fucking chihuahua or some shit.
I got my
PJ's already done wrapping his Christmas gifts. What the?
Damn, PJ.
What'd you get me, man?
Yeah, what'd you get me, man? What are all those sweet ass PCP paychecks that I sent you? What are they getting me over here, PJ? Give me an SUV or something that I can wear backwards?
There you go. Oh,
well, Aldo, I really appreciate you coming on here with me tonight.
My pleasure.
I know you have a very busy schedule. You also have a wife, and so do I. And
please don't mention that. It might be some hot chicks watching the show.
There's no hot chicks in here. Heidi's not in here tonight. She's.
Oh, man.
Now I see why you put Heidi up in Chris Watts' room. I get it.
That's right. I had to keep her away from me, man.
You hanging out with me tonight, impromptu, just to vent and get some of this off my chest. And ironically, I get cut off the internet, cut off of all of my everything that has worked for 2 years, just shut down.
Mm-hmm.
Or Carl had to come in and take over for me for a minute. Shows there really is truly a conspiracy over the Muggs Halas death. I'm buying into that now. If I wasn't before, I definitely am after getting shut down. I got shut down, bro.
That was weird.
That was not a mistake. I didn't hit some buttons. Everything just stopped working. I had to literally unplug my computer and just go right to my laptop with no headset, no mic, nothing.
Well, Shorty, go back and look at the video during that. I don't know if you noticed, is that your image, your avatar image, was going big and small, big and small. It was just like somebody took over the controls, like a fucking ghost. It was weird.
Really?
I started laughing, and then all of a sudden it kept going. I go, okay, this is not funny anymore. This is fucking bizarre. So take a look back at that segment. It was very strange.
I'll have to do that because I do like conspiracies too, man.
I think we got a real one.
I think that really is a conspiracy. I've never had anything like that happen before. I've had my mic shut off and on. I just plug it back in. It's fine. But to have all my sound equipment shut down, not work anymore, plugged into my computer, it was just like it's dead. I had to go right to my laptop, open. I had to raw dog it right now.
By the way, PJ's putting his hat in the ring to take over for Dan Aguirre on Bare Their Souls. Were you aware that Dan has left the show?
What?
Yeah, Dan Aguirre is no longer on Bare Their Souls.
What?
And he's pissed at you, man.
What did I? Oh, fuck.
He is angry at you that you
still mad at the fucking last call at Halas Hall thing?
Yeah, well, not only that, now he says, man, I can't believe I left Bare Their Souls and Shorty.
Tried to go do something with Shorty, and then he fucked me off. And
yeah, Shorty. He named a couple of names and said he hasn't called me or anything. No, I'm just bullshitting. I don't want to get Dan all pissed off at me. But yeah, he has left the show.
Because he's married.
No, his work schedule. And so they are putting him on 12-hour shifts, his 911 job. And we're on Tuesdays or Wednesdays, and both of those days are going to be a part of his 12-hour shifts. Now, he might be available sometimes on those days, but he figured, you know what, it's probably best, and he threw in, how Dan is. He gets a little neurotic about stuff. I wasn't calling him as often as I used to or texting with him. He's married. I don't want to be texting him while he's having sex and stuff. Right. So he got a little freaked out by that, and he started saying I'm saying the same old stories over and over. And I'm like, well, do what's going to be best, first of all, for your marriage, your health, and your jobs, your paying jobs. And so hopefully he and I will work on some specials together. But yeah, the Bear Their Soul show is going to have a different look starting this Wednesday, when my co-host will be, I shouldn't really say co-host, my guest will be David Kaplan of ESPN 1000.
Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, he and I will talk for the first half of the show, and then
wait, every show?
No.
Oh, okay.
I wish.
Oh my God, I'm not going to fucking watch that anymore then.
I'm going to show him this clip.
But let him show him this clip where I said I still have to work with him.
Absolutely. And Chad says he watches Cap and Jay Hood. Do you not watch them anymore for some reason, Mr. Shorty? Cap and Jay Hood? Go ahead, you can say. We're among friends.
I'm live right now, so I don't. Since you have Cap coming on, I don't want to.
Wow, what happened?
I've never been a big fan of Dave Kaplan. I think he's full of himself.
Wow.
I'm literally sitting there twiddling my thumbs, like, just never really been a big fan of this. I'm like, it'd be nice to have him on the show.
He's one of my favorite broadcasters.
I always grew up loving him. So,
yeah, I don't agree with a lot of stuff that he says, but that's part of what makes him good. I think Colin Cowherd is another great broadcaster. I can listen to them for hours, and half the time,
I fucking hate loving that guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think broadcasters, you can either love them or hate them, and in the case of the two guys that I named, I love them because I disagree with them so often. It makes it kind of fun. Bersky thinks Colin Cowherd is terrible. I don't know. He's terrible how? He's a great broadcaster. The guy is a great storyteller. He engages you. He's got a great voice. Professionally speaking, I think the guy earns his money.
So wait, what you're saying is that what PJ said is not true? He's not going to be your new co-host?
PJ isn't.
Oh, thank God. I was going to be really jealous of you, PJ. I'm like, my name's Dan, Aldo. We can continue Dan and Aldo about their souls.
Frankly, what I've been thinking about is not having a co-host and just doing the first hour myself with guest interviews. Well. Yeah. I think I might give that a shot for a little while, and we'll see what happens.
I think that's a great idea. I mean, when I did my rant one time, it was right, like I said, right after the Hail Mary game, and when you have a fan base that appreciates you, you can sit here and talk with them. You won't miss a damn beat.
I'm telling you, when I did that pop-up show Saturday night, I had that same feeling. I said, I could fucking do this by myself.
I watched you say it. Yeah. You were like, I'm not doing this more. Yeah.
I like to play point guard, distribute the ball to Greg Gabriel, Mike North, to Mr. Shorty. I like doing that most in behind the scenes work, but I'm getting old. When you have a regular partner, you got to produce more, and now I just want to fucking talk.
Yep, I agree. I mean, nothing to you, PJ or Foster, anybody, but it's a lot easier when you just go, I'm doing it now. And like I don't get to talk to you very much. So just coming out here with you tonight was like really super easy because you and I can do the same. I could do the same thing with PJ or anybody else, but I don't want to take up too much time out of their lives and ask them to do, spontaneous shit like this. And so sometimes I think about doing it myself too. And I loved when you said that on your last show, BSing with Aldo, that I thought to myself too, and like J2K told me, like, I like that. You should do that more. I thought the same thing about you. That'd be a great idea. And to the Dan thing, Dan, I remember like meeting him and becoming friends with him. Like, the Barroom was his therapy.
Yeah.
Before TTNL fucked off and did their own thing. It was his therapy when he was going through a divorce.
Mm-hmm.
Like me, when I was going through a divorce, I became a DJ at a local radio station in my town at the time.
Oh, really?
I was on the radio.
Yeah.
In your car listening to me talk. But it was just I was a DJ. I was like playing music and mostly my music, and it was a 3-hour show though, but there was times in between where you're talking. And going through that, I know how much it helped me at that time. So I know when, Dan going through the whole divorce thing, like he was going through in Barroom, and then he's doing a show with you, and then he gets remarried. Now he's happy again. He's got things going on in his life. I guarantee you he'll never not do anything with you, but I can understand why it would be something that he just needs to do a little bit less, and I can respect that. And
absolutely.
You always be friends. You guys will always, I'm sure, have your pop-up stuff, and it'll be fun as fuck to watch. But it is like all great things do come to an end, and this will one day, I'm sure.
Yeah.
So
you've got another good 20 to 30 years of this. I got another like 20 months maybe or less, and it's fun. I'm going to continue to do it, and when it becomes drudgery, and my wife has now officially retired, and so she's home now, so I'm going to do less shows because I want to spend more time with her and stuff, but I'm always going to be talking Bears. Hopefully it'll be more enjoyable stuff to talk about, but I'm afraid that we could be headed into another period of like long-term mediocrity, because if Warren and Poles don't agree on things and aren't making the right decisions, we're going to waste Caleb Williams. We're going to waste the other talent on the team. This team has a good roster. They have a really good roster. Their record should be 6, 7, 8 wins right now. That's pretty fucking obvious. And the reason is because the management has made poor decisions with head coaches. They're hiring the same coaches every fucking time. But anyway.
Pick them out of a lineup, like I said.
Right, exactly.
4 Stars Chicago Sports. Great to see you in here. I don't know if is that you, Brandon, or damn it. I'm sorry, I forget your other name. You're an asshole. I go into their show. He's like, "What's up, Shorty?" I'm like, "How the fuck do you know who I am?" I've never seen him before. But I appreciate you coming in here. 4 stars. I'm an asshole right now. I got really high before the show. Then I started talking about Muggs Halas. Then I got kicked off the internet, so I'm a little bit fucked up right now. But Aldo,
I think I'm gonna wear my jersey backwards like you are.
Wait, no, I'm trying to start. Dustin, thank you, Dustin. I'm trying to start a movement. Dustin, Brandon Lawson, Bearski, Raging Oracle, Aldo, Pat Speaker, wear your fucking jerseys backwards. I'm going to 2 games this year, the Lions game and the Seahawks game, back to back. I'm wearing my jersey backwards.
Nice.
Backwards. And I
like that.
And I'm also tailgating in the section that George McCaskey walks around in and talks to everybody. And Chris Watts and I met him last year twice in 2 games.
That's right.
And I'm going to tell him. I'm going to start wearing this forwards. And I'm going to start telling everyone I know to wear it backwards until you can get your shit straight.
Ooh.
And then I'm going to get...
See what happened? He's talking bad. All of a sudden the lights went out. Gotta be careful, man.
Oh, that's my other monitor shut off.
Okay.
For a second, like, damn, I'm getting cut off again.
Brandon says he's gonna wear his shirt backwards for the Monday Night Football game against the Vikings. Nice.
Yes. Thank you. I want to start a movement. Everyone wear your jersey backwards in protest of this backwards ass organization doing everything backwards. Interviewing a head coach before you hire the general manager, hiring the general manager before you hire the new team president, firing the head coach that you should have fired the year before when you drafted a rookie quarterback. everything is just so backwards. It calls for you to wear your jersey backwards, and I applaud all of you to do it. I'm starting a movement, man. Let everyone know that BCP sent you to do this.
I love it.
And I'm going to expect to see you wearing your jersey backwards next time I see you on your channel, Aldo.
I'm going to do it tomorrow on the Buffon 55 show, 8 p.m. tomorrow. John is off, so Alyssa Barbieri is going to host the show with me and Danny Shimon. We're going to talk stuff. I got a little video I'm putting together, and it should be a fun show, but I'm going to wear my fucking jersey. Maybe Caleb I'll wear backwards.
No, don't wear jersey. No, pick an old one. Don't.
Oh, okay.
Because my idea is this is a Hall of Famer. You can't besmirch him.
Ditka. How's Ditka?
Yeah, you're not going against Urlacher. If you wore a Williams, it's like you're going against the current player, right?
I get it. Yeah.
Go against someone who is an established Hall of Famer. If you have one, a Ditka, a Mongo, an Urlacher, a Peanut Tillman, a Hester jersey, whatever.
Yeah.
Wear them backwards. Don't wear a current jersey backwards. That would I don't assign or consign to that.
Okay.
Walter
I
Payton.
like that.
Wear Walter Payton backwards, Chad Speaker.
Yeah, I have a Peyton, a Ditka, and a Butkus that I can pick from.
You can definitely wear a Fields one backwards, Bearski film.
Oh, I got a Fields one and a Trubisky one. I could definitely wear either one of those. Those were gifts. I did not pay for those.
Aldo, as we're trying to wrap this up, now we have someone to flirt with here. You see that?
Ay, Dios mío.
Oh, Dios mío, Eddie. Trying to wrap this up, and you're going to come in and talk to us. So glad I didn't go to Chicago this season. Would have loved to see you guys, but it's too expensive to watch our team. I'm going to add lose.
Heidi, let people know where they can buy the pictures of your feet. They $10 with nails unpolished and $20 for nails polished. It's really the polished ones really worth it, man. He's been working on polishing those nails. That's why she's late.
Upload those pictures right now, Heidi, quick, before we end the show.
Exactly. Feet Finder. Feetfinder.com.
Chris Foster, I will bet you $100 right now. You can go to bearscountrypodcast@gmail.com right now. I will bet you $100. You send me an email. I will make that official bet with you. If you are correct, I will pay you $100. 3 years from now, you will speak about Caleb like you do about Trubisky and Fields. You are wrong. I'm 100% you are wrong. I'm willing to put $100 down on it.
I would like to know from Chris, if you can type this in quickly, who would you rather? Oh, I think he's going to say Tyson Bagent.
No, I asked him the same question. He didn't.
What did he respond? What solution does he have for the Bears quarterback position since he doesn't like Caleb?
I don't think it's actually he's actually on the team right now.
Ah, okay. So he wants Shadir Sanders or the next Bo Nix, something like that. Well, listen, I can't believe anybody could see the athleticism that Caleb Williams has, the throwing power, the Superman type plays. Yes, he's been inaccurate. Yes, he has had some brain meltdowns. Yes, he's imperfect. There's no doubt about it. But he has superstar qualities. And Chris, I was promoting that too. But the fact is, they didn't go for that great big haul. And that's our quarterback now. I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt just because, to me, when I see him play, he deserves the benefit of the doubt. And the numbers that he's going to post this season, when the season ends, he's going to have better numbers in his rookie season than Hall of Fame quarterbacks like Peyton Manning and others. So, I mean, that's just a fact. That's what's going to happen.
1,000%. There's no denying the difference between the two quarterbacks.
Mm-hmm.
Chris Foster is saying, though, that he wanted to go for the Hall.
Listen, I can understand going for the Hall, but who knows what was offered? It's just easy to say go for the Hall, but if there wasn't an attractive offer, not to say that I'm not convinced. I'm pretty sure that Caleb, I mean, Ryan Poles had his eyes fixed on Caleb months and months ago. It was just about talking to him and making sure his dad was cool and he was cool and blah, blah, blah. But I could see going for the Hall too, but it didn't happen. So we'll see what happens now.
As PJ pointed out before, I could see there was no not taking Caleb in that situation for me. If they didn't take him, I'd still be fucking complaining about it right now for the rest of my life.
Mm-hmm.
I could see them trading the number 9 pick for some offensive line help and not getting Rome Odunze. They could have gotten the receiver for the Jaguars. What is it, Brian Thomas Jr. or something?
Yes.
He would have been. I mean, the question is, how great was Rome Odunze? It's not Caleb Williams, really.
Right.
So.
Yeah, and I think Rome is going to turn out to be a high-quality receiver. And the question is, should you have traded down from that position and worked on the offensive and defensive lines with the assets you would have got? That's the big question. Or should you not have traded a 4th-round draft pick for Keenan Allen? Now, it's only a 4th-round draft pick, but the $20 million you're paying for Keenan, you could have paid for a higher quality offensive linemen than Ryan Bates and the other guys, Matt Pryor, those journeyman offensive linemen that Poles was bragging about. Yeah, it's going to be hard to make this team. We've got depth, and blah blah blah. Depth with journeyman offensive line is not depth. You're crossing your fingers is what you're doing, and that's what's happened. Injuries to the offensive line have exposed the fact that the depth was weak.
From a former offensive lineman too, right? That's the worst part?
Yeah, shit, man. Anyway, tomorrow 8:00, Buffon 55 over at the Barroom Network. Mr. Shorty, I want you back on Barroom Network soon. I'll reach out to you and we'll pick a date, okay?
I would love that. Thank you very much. I was just going to ask you if you could please have me, any one of us on again that would love to come on with you.
I'd love to have your whole crew on, man.
Yeah,
I really would.
We would love to join you again. You are the PodFather. You are the reason why we are here. You are the inspiration for this channel and many others, like I've said a million times. You are the fucking PodFather. And it's 100% true. You really are. You've created so many podcasts. You've created podcasts that have created podcasts. And just it's ridiculous to watch. Like you watch the family tree go all the way back to you. It's like it's great.
Well, I love working with young minds, creative. That's one of the things that you and I talked about when we first started working together. Is I love working with people who have fresh ideas, and just look at where BCP is now. Fucking fantastic graphics, great story ideas, great guests. This is a station that people should be subscribing to, getting those alerts, joining them live, or definitely downloading their on-demand stuff. So
one of the best pieces of advice you gave me was build your brand.
There you go. Build that brand.
We've done that. So
yeah, beautiful.
Chad says BCP is the best. We appreciate you, Chad. Thank you so much. Everyone in chat tonight, Ricky Leahy, Heidi, thank you for hopping in with us at the end here. Cliff Victoria, great to see you again. Brandon Lawson, Samo. Samo's another one you made a podcaster out of.
Mm-hmm. I've asked him to come on too, so we're going to have Samo on, you on, PJ on, a number of people, and I'm really looking forward to those conversations.
Armando says, Shorty, you should let the guys from Sean Sierra's show you are on. Sean has been on this show before. Actually, we were on the Barroom Network at that time doing the open mic when Sean came on.
Yeah.
But we need love Sean Sierra's show, the Sports Zone Chicago. Watch that every Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Anyone that doesn't know that show, I encourage you to watch it. It's awesome. It's 2 hours long from 10 a.m. to noon Eastern. Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Great show. Check that show out as well.
He does great work.
Yeah, he really does. Because he covers all Chicago sports.
I was a guest on his show, and unfortunately, he invited me during the summer months, and so a lot of the discussion was about the Chicago Cubs, and so I'm faking my way through that fucking 2-hour show. Yeah, Leo DeRocha, man, I still think he's a good manager. Yeah, Leo DeRocha stopped managing the Cubs in the 70s, Aldo. So, but yeah, you're absolutely right about him. He covers all sports really, really well. Very, very knowledgeable. I'm surprised some TV station hasn't swiped him up to have him do sports anchoring.
Dude, that's awesome to hear, man. And I agree. Yeah, guys, everyone in chat, Fart Man, great to see you again. That's one of our new. That's a great name, Fart Man.
It is.
Everyone in chat, even Chris Foster. I love killing you guys with kindness. Judah, Ghost of Judah Tribe. Love to kill you guys with kindness, man. And we appreciate you guys being respectful in our chat. And thank you guys. Everyone, you guys know who you are. Raging Oracle, Heidi, Samo, Armando, Lara, Chad Spieger, Ricky Leahy. I can go on and on and on. Tony Moy, all of our regulars. We love you guys. We appreciate you guys. We have tomorrow night, we're going to be breaking down the All 22 again with PJ, myself, J2K, and Samo. And then we have our Thursday show coming up at 9 p.m. Eastern time, our normal Thursday night show. And I'm looking to have either Kenneth Davis on from the former NBC Sports Chicago, or possibly even reaching out to Eric Kramer again, because he usually likes to go like that week if I reach out to him. So we're looking to have a guest this coming Thursday. And make sure you guys, if you don't already know, check out the PodFather and the Barroom Network and all the amazing shit that he has going. You have got such amazing content. Greg Gabriel, Mike North, all your different shows that cover all the different sports. You are PodFather.
Thank you, brother.
You want to end this with me on a 1, 2, 3 bear?
You got it. Let's do it.
All right. 1, 2, 3.
Stop, Bears!
Bears!